let's get started. If you can just give me an overview. So, folks, those of you who registered online and sent questions in, we're going to just, Joe and I are just going to have a conversation and I'm going to work in the questions that you've asked. Um, Down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a Q&A box. If you have additional questions or questions that we didn't hit, you're welcome to put questions in there and I'll shoot them over to Joe. If we do run out of time, though, we will reach out directly to folks that if we didn't get to all of the questions. So hopefully that will work out. So let's talk about the basic meal structure. I know we have meal plans. I know there's different sizes and different students have different things. Can you give a quick overview about what they look like?
Sure. Yeah, for first year students, we have what's called the unlimited meal plan, which really gains access unlimited to the Fresh Food Company on the third floor, pretty much where most parents had their meals in the orientation. That meal
Oh,
plan
yeah.
will get them in there unlimited. If the child wants to come in 100 times a day, they can. Then we have our retail locations, which within a meal period, if a student would like to use a meal, we call it meal exchange in those locations, they're allowed to. But what happens is the system recognizes that they've used a meal in retail and wouldn't let them back in the Fresh Food Company for the unlimited kind of process with the unlimited meal plan. But there's many different meal plans. We have the unlimited, we have the 14, we have the 10, we have community meal plans 60 and 30. But when you look at there's plus plans in there too, which really happens with that is there's an additional flex amount that's added to the meal plan price and you
Okay.
get additional flex money in there. That comes with guest meals too, so each plan is a little different. I'll point everybody to our scrantoncampisdish.com that really will answer a lot of questions for you if I don't have a chance to answer all those tonight. But really, and guest meals can be used, let's say family weekends coming up, you're coming to campus and you your child can actually treat you to a meal in the Fresh Food Company using a guest meal. So, and they could be used on themselves too, so.
Oh, that's great. In fact, while we're talking here, I'm going to, in the chat, everyone, if you check in the chat, I'm going to put the link to campusdish.com. I think that's a really great resource, not just for the families to kind of get an idea what's going on, but to also share with your students too. I think all the information that you ever would want can be found on Campus Dish.
Yeah, and just to add that too, we can get in there and see our menu in the Fresh Food Company. Of course, our retail locations present the normal menu. We have our what's called limited time offers that pop up for different locations. But if you want to know what we have on dinner for next Tuesday, you can go in there and see what we have posted that we're going to serve, which is kind of great. A lot of people on campus use it to determine where they're coming to eat their meal for each meal period. So.
Well, I have to jump in and tell you, I didn't know that. So I've been here 17 years and there's something that I learned and I'm going to use that because I love it when you guys have salmon and I'll be looking for the salmon day if that's
Yeah,
okay.
one of our more popular ones that we're serving now is our smash burger. So it's fresh ground beef seasoned, whether we do a cheese topping and then there's additional toppings on the side. But I was actually working that station today and we'll do more than 900 portions just for lunch. It's crazy.
I can't complain. I can't complain about feeding a large crowd at Thanksgiving. I'll never complain again. Now I
Yeah,
have a question
that's just one station, of course,
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Now I have a question from a family member. For the unlimited plans, you can go to Chick-fil-A and the third floor for the same mealtime or not?
Or no, you can't. So, for
Okay,
example, let's say your child swipes in at the Fresh Food Company when the meal period starts at 11 a.m. for lunch.
right.
Really the system is set up on the backside based on meal periods. Lunch is 11 to really 5 in the Fresh Food Company and 11 to 4 in retail. So I use it as this way. The best bang for the buck is the Fresh Food Company. You come at 11, you have your lunch, you're a little hungry in the afternoon, you come back at 2, everything is open, every single station. And then maybe you're even still hungry at 3:30, you could come into the Fresh Food Company, which is called light lunch. So we serve light lunch from 2:30 to 5. And you could come in, you can get, salad bar, there's proteins, make your own sandwich, there's 3 kind of soups, there's a composed salad there. Of course, ice cream and yogurt are always available, the soft serve, I should say. At the tail end of 2:30, you may even be able to get an entree that was kind of overproduced and is on the counter, pizza, that kind of stuff. So,
Sure. Actually, that helps. I'm going to scroll down to in my list of questions.
yep.
Someone had mentioned that their student has class from 5 to 7:30 and was under the impression that they couldn't eat dinner. So what I'm hearing from you then is that they can come in before they go to that 5 o'clock class, may not be the full dinner, but they can get something.
Sure, sure.
Am I
Well,
right about
for in that example, so 5 to 7:30, the child has a class, they can actually come over to retail or go
Yeah.
to a retail location at 7:30 and still use their dinner swipe, because our dinner meal period goes from 4 to 8 in retail, from 5 to 7:30 in the fresh food company on the third floor. So in that scenario you just mentioned, a child could come over at 7:30 after they're done with the
Okay.
class, or they could use mobile ordering and actually place a dinner mobile order for Chick-fil-A and use a dinner meal swipe in retail. So
That's excellent. So for the person that sent that in, I hope that clears it up for you,
yeah.
to let your student know.
Yeah, and Lynn, I would say too, like if a child is or a student, I call them children, but they're
I
your
know.
children, right? Um,
Yeah.
One of the things we pride ourselves on highly is to communicate and get back to parents and students, right? But I'd say if they're having an issue trying to figure out this meal period and wonder about, stop in our office, right? We can get you that information and we could maybe clarify some stuff so that your child knows what to do while they're on campus. You know, it's important that you know what's going on, but I'd like to
Sure.
take care of your children to make sure that they understand it, you know?
Yeah, and it's also a great opportunity, especially for our first year students, to kind of step out of their comfort zone and manage their own stuff. You know, I think
Yeah.
our kiddos are so used to parents taking care of them and making the phone calls and asking the questions. One of
Yeah.
the I think one of the best entry points for those adulting things, honestly, is talking to Joe Boyd, because
Oh,
you've been great with the kids. You've been great. And I know we call them children and kids. We do understand they're adults, but they're kind of like our kids too at this
yeah, we
point.
we kind of take them under our wing a little bit. I remember a
Yeah,
story last semester. I won't mention her name, but she does have dietary restrictions. She was having a bad week. We found out it was her birthday. We set up a table with a tablecloth, and we kind of served her meal that was coming off the True Balance station. And
I love that.
unbeknownst to me, I didn't know she had a bad day, but her dad kept calling my phone, and I didn't know who this was. Right, this was spring
Sure.
semester, and he said, I finally got him live, and he said, Joe, he said, if I didn't get you on the phone, I was going to come up there and drive up there personally to thank you, because my daughter was having such a bad week, and what you
Mhm.
did changed her attitude towards, her whole entire week. He was so thankful. He couldn't stop thanking me for what we did. That little simple gesture. And it was kind of a little fun thing to do, get a tablecloth and
It's
set
fun
up a
for you
table.
too, but
Yeah,
it
yeah, we
makes
have
such a
fun
big
like that.
deal for the students.
Yeah.
Um, let's dig into the next little bit. Now, I see there's quite a few live questions coming in. I am going to go through
Okay.
the questions that came in registration first,
Okay.
trying to combine them as best I can. So if you could tell us again, the hours for the third floor are what to what?
Yeah, so I don't want to make it confusing, but we
Yeah,
say this: we open at 7 a.m. whether there's 2 feet of snow or not. We've never missed a
yeah,
day in 33 years that
yep.
university closes, we're open, but we're open from 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And what that means is we're open at 7 a.m. for breakfast. At around 10:30, we switch over to get our lunch ready. And we have to close breakfast down. We set up a lunch around 10:30. We say lunch is 11 to 2:30. After 2:30, we're cleaning up and trying to reset and prep for dinner. And 2:30 to 5 is our we call it our light lunch, which offers salad bar, make your own sandwiches, soups, of course, desserts, ice cream, the soft serve machine. And then we run that until 5 o'clock. And then 5 to 7:30, we are open for dinner. Typically, we're
Okay.
staying open a little, like 10 minutes after, but then on the weekends, we're 9:30 to 7:30. Same kind of structure. Afternoon, we do light lunch. Again, understand we have no back of the house kitchen. All of our prep is done in front of the house. So we
Sure.
don't have a production area in the back where we're actually able to produce food. If we're making, like today, we were making burgers. We have the fresh ground beef on the counter. We're actually scooping it out. We're portioning it. We're rolling it. We're putting it on the thing, and it's going on the round grill to cook it.
Okay. And I'm going to, on top of that, there's a parent that's saying if the kid has a class from 5 to 7:40,
Mhm.
they don't have enough time to get back to get the meal. Wondering if you could stay open until 8. I can see how that would be difficult from a staffing standpoint. Is that something that's ever been considered? And I'm not sure,
Yeah,
so to also to the parent that's asking that, how many days a week is that? Is that a 2-day a week class?
yeah. Well, and here's the solution for that. That's what, mobile ordering came really prevalent during the COVID period. We had to get it up and running, but they
Yep.
could actually use a dinner swipe, place a mobile order, and get their, get a food item for dinner within our retail location.
Okay. So wait, so the mobile app, the mobile orders does not combine, like you can't use those for the third floor fresh food
Correct.
company, correct?
Correct.
Just
Yeah.
the first floor, what do you
The
call them?
Naples. The Naples.
The first floor of
Yeah.
Naples, the retail space.
Yeah, so that area offers our mobile ordering, and so does the Mulberry Pod.
Okay.
What kids call it a couple different things. The Pod, Mulberry, Montrone Hall, they
Yeah.
offer mobile ordering too. So, but it's a quick and easy way. A
Excellent.
lot of students have figured that out. Like this, they have that class at
Oh yeah.
7:30, but they're able to place a mobile order, and by the time they get over here, it's ready, and they get to go back to their room. So,
Yeah. I'm remembering when Matthew was a student at Scranton,
mm,
he had a late class like that. So I don't want the parent to feel like they're the only one. I remember he had a class like that and he tried to get there for like the late lunch thing. And then he would get dinner at the in one of the retail spaces. They're asking, can you list or tell us which are considered the retail? And again, folks, I will point you to the chat box. I put the Campus Dish link in there for your reference. You can open it now and then you'll have it. You can save it. But Joe, if you could just go over what's the retail place.
yeah, sure. So retail, we classify as first floor to Naples. So any station within there, of course, you got Which, we call B&F Burgers and Fries, Zoka, Chick-fil-A, Pizza and Pasta. We go across the street to Montrone Hall, underneath there, our food location is called, we call it Mulberry Pod. That's
Mhm.
retail. And then Einstein Bagel Brothers is retail. We
Mhm.
also have, and again, which is, you can't use meal swipes in these locations, but in retail, we have Starbucks.
Yep.
And then in retail, we actually have a Pod Market in Naples Center. That's kind of a convenience store, grab and go. And then we have Java City in the Weinberg Memorial Library. It's kind of a self-service market. We have Costa Coffee Machine. We have the Just Baked, and there's bite boxes there. And I will apologize up front here. I have 2 dogs, so if they start going crazy, there's might be deer in the yard. So
That's okay.
yeah,
My hope is for these webinars to feel like we're sitting at their kitchen table with them.
yeah,
So
that's
bark
what I'm
away,
doing.
dogs. This is what we're
Yeah.
doing. This is what we're doing. Now, another question as far as the third floor, the fresh food company, is there
Mhm.
fresh fruit? Like, can you go up and grab a banana, apple, that kind of stuff? Is that out during the day?
Yeah, yeah. And then, matter of fact, before I left at 6 o'clock, we had strawberries out, blueberries, cantaloupe, pineapple, honeydew.
Okay,
We're trying to keep all that fresh fruit while it's available
sure.
out. But that's out for breakfast, it's out for lunch, and it's out for
Okay,
dinner.
okay. There
The
was a mom that
strawberries
had
look
asked.
actually quite good, to be honest. I
Great.
should have had 1 or 2.
That's you should bring them to me too.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Are there to-go containers for fresh food?
No, no, that's a big thing.
Okay.
So yeah, our fresh food, during COVID we did, to try
Mm.
to help out with the situation. But the fresh food company, when it was built, and typically within fresh food companies within our company, it's called an all you care to eat facility. So we don't care how much you eat. You can, I mean, most kids have 3.5 entrees plus a salad.
Mhm.
So
Right.
we're in calculating production, but we don't have to go containers due to the fact that it's classified as an all you care to eat facility. So
Got it.
eat as much as you want. Leave, come on back. That's why I keep saying that Fresh Food Company for first year student on an unlimited meal plan is the best deal. That you're not going to spend extra money. You have enough food. There's 14 stations. It's crazy for the amount of food and selections that we have, you know?
Oh, I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Um, now, how can the students check their balance or their credits? So I think the next thing we need to talk about is Flex versus like the Royal dollars. Can you talk a little
Sure.
bit about how Flex works? I'm going to weave a couple questions in into one thing. Can you talk about
Yeah.
how Flex works, especially with the retail areas downstairs? One parent just wrote, are there limits to how often they can go to retail shops? The student said there's something about Chick-fil-A only twice a week. So if you
Hmm.
can clarify that a little.
Yeah, that's a new one. I know kids that eat Chick-fil-A every day down there, except
My nephew
Sundays.
does.
Yeah, because they're
Except Sunday.
closed,
Yeah.
except Sunday. Okay, so do you have your Royal card there handy, Lynn? Your
Do
Royal
I?
card?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. You can hold that up for a second. I try to explain
This
this.
is an interactive webinar, folks.
Nice. So that card Lynn is showing all students have, and of course staff has too.
Probably
Yeah.
cover my birthday.
Yeah.
Sorry. Good thing
Yeah,
my
that's good.
birthday's not on it.
Yeah. So what I try to explain to parents is that's one card stop shop, right? It's got it's we call it the Royal card, but in that card you've got the Royal card account, you've got the meal plan account, you've got the Flex account, and so it's multiple accounts on one card. And that's why I say it's one stop shop. Um, the difference between Royal Card and Flex, Royal Card you can use anywhere on campus.
Got it.
Bookstore, library, vending, dining. Flex can only be used in dining.
Got it.
So you go into a convenience store, you can use Flex in there. You go to the Starbucks to get, whatever, a latte, or I can't even pronounce all the drinks. You could use Flex. You go into retail, you could use Flex. You can actually use Flex to get in the fresh food company, but I don't know why you would. You can use Flex at Einstein Bagel Brothers to get a bagel. So again, Royal Card, anywhere use on campus, Flex equals just dining.
Excellent.
The Chick-fil-A 2 days a week, that's a really strange one because again, if you think about this, you have on a daily basis, you have we'll call it meal swipe opportunities. You have breakfast, you have lunch, you have dinner, and you have late night, right? So you could actually, if Chick-fil-A was open late, at 11 o'clock at night, you can go there. But it's all based around the meal period, right? If you eat dinner in the fresh food company at 6 o'clock, right? Remember, again, we're open from 5 to 7:30 in the fresh food company. And then you want a Chick-fil-A at 8:15, you go downstairs and use a meal swipe for Chick-fil-A. What we call there in each meal period too, there is called cash equivalency rates. Offhand, off the top of my head, I know lunch and dinner are $8.10 to be able to spend in retail. When we built the place, we said, listen, most universities don't allow you to do this, right? I know my daughter went to another university and that was run by the same company, and they had what was called meal exchange. So you went into retail, you were able to get a grilled cheese and French fries for a meal swipe. When we built the University of Scranton in retail, we said, listen, you can go across the gate, I'll call it the threshold into retail, and anything in there is your availability up to $8.10. Anything over you could use Flex for. If you got 3 Chick-fil-A sandwiches and a French fry, and it came to 10.15, you get a quality, you get an exchange of 8.10. You'd have to pay the difference somehow, some way, with a Royal card, or cash, or credit, or Flex. I hope
That's helpful.
Yeah,
That's
that
helpful.
clarifies.
So,
I know that, oh, go ahead.
so I was going to go to another topic, but finish your thought.
No, I said, when you're talking about meal plans, like when I said my daughter went to this other university, which was Westchester, I'll say that she got accepted at the University of Scranton, but she chose Westchester. When I went there and I was talking about the meal periods, and the gentleman said, "Do you work for dining somewhere?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." But it does get very confusing. But the children are children, your children start to figure it out within the next week or so, and if they don't, tell them to get to our office or email me, and we'll help them out understand it too. So
Yeah, and in my role at the university, I have the privilege of working with parents and families and helping them learn how to navigate the waters of the university. And one of the things I like to encourage them is you are interested in how all of it works, but your kid is the one that needs to know how it all works. So
Yeah,
I think these webinars are helpful to get as much information out to the parents as possible. But
absolutely.
when the rubber meets the road, the students are the ones that need to get in there and learn how best to use their accounts.
And I will say I'm
Um,
very, very encouraged. I've had a lot of first year students actually email me, come to the office and answer the questions, which, you know, sometimes you don't have that. You know what I mean?
that's good.
It's very encouraging to hear, see that this year. So,
That's so great. That is so great. So you started talking about late night dining. Can you talk
yep.
a little bit about what late night is, how that works? At my house, we don't serve late night.
Yeah.
uh, no late
Yeah.
night. Kitchen's
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah. Kitchen's closed. No, we have to stay open again. So Mulberry, it closes 8 o'clock. That's across the street, right? They run from 5 to 8. Currently, we're talking about opening that up in the afternoon. We're planning some stuff, but late night is a meal period from 8 to 11 Sunday through Thursday, 8 to 10 on Friday, 8 to 10 on Saturday, and back to 8 to 11 on Sunday. That's our late night period. And again, during that period, they all have a value. And again, off the top of my head, I'm sorry I don't have it. They'll be able to spend a certain amount. One big thing for late night is typically people have had their, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and you're looking for a snack. Or Grill B&F is very popular with breakfast sandwiches, but
Yep.
we have Zoka open, pizza, pasta. Our pizza is pretty popular too, an individual pizza that students can order. So
Yeah, I'm a fan of that as well. Um, and okay, so we already talked about the to-go containers. So someone asked, can they take the meal outside to eat or back to their room? But it sounds like that's not
well, they can if
an
they're doing
option.
retail. They,
Oh,
they,
right,
they
right.
yeah, they can't take it from Fresh Food Company.
Okay.
I actually had to talk to a few students this morning about that because see what's happening is they're coming in and eating and having a full meal and then taking
Yeah,
stuff. And one thing that we're
yeah.
concerned about is food safety. Again, that's
Hmm.
one thing that I harp on. We have many employees within our operation, cooks and chefs that have been Serve Safe certified. So they go through 2-day training. We get the course in. And it encourages me to have more people that know about how to serve safe food, you know.
Right.
So
No, that completely makes sense. We definitely wouldn't want a kiddo, having a piece of lasagna not cold enough in their refrigerator in the dorm and then get a tummy
yeah,
thing. I
yeah,
get
yeah.
that.
But if you do mobile ordering in retail, you can go anywhere you want. You could
That's true.
it's funny, but a lot of kids mobile order and then they go to the retail and they sit at the tables. It's kind of
Right.
it's like I can't figure that one out.
They don't
But
want to. They want to just go in and grab it. I know my
yeah,
my nephew's one of those folks. So
yeah,
all
yeah.
right. So let's look. We're about halfway through. We talked about that. I'm sorry. We talked about that. I'm sorry.
Huh, that's all right.
Oh, let's talk about students that live off campus. So either our students that are living up in the hill section in an apartment, and or our commuter students. What kinds of programs or meal plans do you have for those folks?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was talking to a couple of students recently about this, right? And I know as a parent, one of the tedious tasks we have weekly is going, getting in our cars, going shopping, fighting the crowds in our shopping centers, trying to figure out our meal prep processes, bringing the food home, unpacking it, put it in the cooler, prepping it. Well, I was talking to a student this week. They are off campus, they don't have a meal plan, and they're spending that time maybe, and again, not she wasn't able to kind of put a pencil to the paper and how much time she was spending, but I said, the thing is, how much are you throwing out at the end of the week that you didn't eat?
Yeah,
How much are
yeah,
people, your friends eating from your food within the refrigerator? And again, putting that time. Now I've talked to other students and say, listen, I'm too busy with school. School's more important.
right.
I can't, I don't need to focus, a couple hours or whatever it might be to try to go to the shopping center, waste gas, go get stuff, bring it home, prep it, put it in the cooler. Again, I'm talking to a lot of parents here that are doing the same thing, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. you know what I mean? On a
Yeah.
weekly basis,
It
just to
is, and
say,
they may only have a limited rotation of what they're able to cook well at that
yeah.
age, and
Well, yeah, it's funny because I talk to seniors that are not on a meal plan, and I say, "Well, oh, I cook," and I go, "Oh, what's your specialty?" And they're like, the macaroni and cheese in a box," and I'm like, "Well, that must be
yeah, not
so
cooking.
good."
Yeah,
So
we're better off.
yeah, getting to students off campus that live
Yeah.
close, let's say in the Hill, meal plans. Those students can sign up for a meal plan if they want. The lowest one that I would suggest is 10 meal plan. That's 10 meals a week. You kind of calculate meal plan starts on Saturday, ends on Friday. You could get 2 meals a day, typically, a lunch and dinner.
Yep.
For commuters, they can also get the traditional meal plans, right? They could sign up for any one of those, the unlimited 1410. I talked to an adjunct professor this summer during orientation, and she said, I would like to infuse my commuter student into the population, and I feel the best way to do that is to be on a meal plan.
Oh,
For
that's smart, Joe.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
what
think
I
of that.
said. That's
That's really
that's great
smart.
because he'll be spending more time on campus with his friends
Yep.
and be more infused rather than going back to his car and sitting in the garage until his next class, right?
Right.
For commuters, there are the 60 block plan and 30 block plan that are only related to commuters, right?
Mhm.
Which are good plans. So 30 block for the semester or 60 block for the semester. It's basically use them or lose them. The
Mhm.
flex, here one more important thing with flex, right? Flex, this is very simple. Flex rolls over semester to semester, year to year, as long as you have a meal plan. So after this
Okay.
semester, if you have $10 left, and let's say you have the unlimited meal plan that gives you 70, and next semester you will get 70 and get the $10 added back into your account. And as
Okay.
students increase in years on campus, the different meal plans come with more flex. So if they're not using it,
Mhm.
it gets added into the next semester. So, or the other option for off campus or commuters is to use, you got to get your queue up here, Lynn, with your Royal card.
Okay. Oh, wait,
Yep.
here.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. You can use the Royal card. I tell parents you can get into the Royal card office. It's just like PayPal, right? You go in and sign in like a guest, and then you
Let
can
me find
actually,
that.
yeah, you can actually go in and put money into their account, and it's just like PayPal, right? It's going to charge your card, and then like I said, you don't have to carry a couple credit cards. You have one-stop shop at that Royal card. You can deposit. Well, another good thing, Lynn, I'm just like, spewing things out here, but during the fall semester and spring semester, primarily around fall break and spring break, dining services offers a little program, we'll call it. Like we call it bonus flex. If you go in during this period when it's announced, for every $100 we give you free cash.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, in October and
Cool.
spring, and we send messages out to the students. It's on our Instagram page, which is a great source for us. Um, communication not only to parents but students. Uh, I had a parent the other day say, "Hey, thanks for all your help. I started following you guys on Instagram. It's amazing to see the different foods that you're serving. The Sustainable Fish Friday. It's a great source for me as a parent
Yeah.
to know what's going on campus." And again, that information is kind of posted out there for during the fall and spring for this flex campaign, we call it. So
Yeah. And I encourage any of you that are coming back to campus for family weekend, pop in and have and there's great restaurants in the area, don't get me wrong, but it would be nice for you to grab brunch or something on during family weekend. Now in the chat, folks, I did put the link to the bursar's office, like where the Royal card information is, and then also as Joe was talking about how to put money on as a guest. I put the link in there, so you may want to open those up and bookmark them so you can have them at another time.
yeah, Lynn, I think one bullet point with this, when you go into that Royal Card account,
Yeah,
you will only see the Royal Card where you can put money in, right?
yeah.
During the campaign period, they will actually put in there, do you want to put money into the dining flex account?
Okay.
They only open it during that campaign period because what was happening, parents were putting money in the flex, but they wanted it in the Royal Card. So We've worked with the
Oh, got it.
University of Scranton to kind of, clear that out when there's no campaign going on. So,
That makes sense. Um, I'm gonna get back to my question list. Sorry,
sure.
folks. One, so we talked about students that that have late classes and may have a hard time get to the third floor for dinner. What if your student has, let's see, if a student can't make it to the dining hall for breakfast before 8 a.m., is there a grab and go option anywhere? If they have like a really super early morning class, what do you
Yes.
recommend in those situations?
Yeah, so retail first floor to Naples opens at 7:30. They can put a mobile
Oh,
order in at 7 o'clock and go over and pick up a breakfast sandwich. And I love
perfect.
their breakfast sandwiches. The bad one for me is the like egg, sausage, hash brown on a bagel.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
killer. It's so good, But
I stopped going there for caloric reasons. For caloric reasons.
yeah, that's.
All
I
right.
mean, what
So
time does that class get out? They said at eight
the eight
o'clock
o'clock
class.
class,
Yeah.
I don't know that question came in through registration. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
I also know that there are students who may have an 8 to 9 or 9:30 and then a class right after it. But
This is
that's when you
so.
can pop into Einstein's or
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. Like, and this is, it's been years of this, right? Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
mhm,
we get hit at 12 noon.
yeah,
In the fresh food company at dinner, we've had records of 620 recently in an hour,
yeah,
620
yep,
swipes in an hour. And again, this has gone on mute ears, but I've said, can't we readjust the schedules a little bit so that
hmm,
it creates a better flow of traffic? Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday is noon. Tuesdays and Thursdays are busy at 11:30, which
yeah,
again, I think goes to, um, trying to have your students find their way on their class schedule, right? The bad
yeah,
time to come is at noon on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They might not have a choice, but if they could swing around that, come at 2 instead of noon, they're going to have a better dining experience.
right, absolutely, and
Yep.
easier to get a table and meet up with their
Yeah.
friends and all that. We've talked about swipes. How can we check the things? We had a lot of questions. I'm really glad that you were willing to jump on this with us
No, I'm happy
today.
to. I hope to, answer some of those that
Yeah,
reassure parents. And then again, like I said,
yeah,
if they're not reassured, just email diningservices@scranton.edu
yep,
and we could answer further for you at any point in time. It's really weird. It's strange. Like I had a lot more upper class parent questions this year than first year. And, I'm going to call it the first and second week of services at this point.
So Joe, you said it's dining services at Scranton.edu.
Yes.
Put
Yeah,
that in the chat.
there goes the
There's the
pups.
puppy. All right, let's go through some of the questions that are coming in live now, if you don't
Yep.
mind.
Cooper.
Cooper, you gotta stop.
It's a
Let's
beagle poodle. He looks like a beagle kind of with poodle hair and he barks like a
we're
beagle.
we're gonna have to bring him over at the end of this call because I want to see him.
Okay.
Actually, one person said thank you. I know that she knew she had a lot of questions, but it's helpful. So this is let's do a game. Like
Sure.
if this student eats at Einstein's for breakfast, which is
Yep.
a retail space, and to Naples for lunch and dinner, flex dollars will only be used if she spends more than $8.10 at Einstein.
Yeah, again, I apologize. I don't have that figure in my head for breakfast, right?
That's okay.
There's equivalency rate for breakfast, at lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
So if they
Okay.
go over that, I know it lunch and dinner is 810. All right.
Yep.
If they go over that 810, they're gonna have to spend or pay the difference of the whatever the overage is. Flex,
Okay.
Royal card, cash, credit card.
That helps. So we talked about what late night is. I can turn that one down. We talked about money on the card.
Mhm.
Folks, parents that are on the call, put more questions in that we didn't answer if I'm missing them. And here's a good one. Until what time can students pick up a mobile order?
Yeah, great question. I would say it depends on the location, right? We have to look at the times, but Mulberry closes at 8. Retail closes Sunday through Thursday at 11, Friday at 10.
Okay.
If you put the order in and you come at 10:30 on a Friday, you're not going to get it. The gate's going to be down. So
Right.
the again, look at ScrantonCampusDish.com. We do have posters in the operations that they can take a little picture of the times for each location so they could work that out. You know, I think that answers, you know, make sure they understand the times of the location.
That totally
Yeah,
makes sense.
and then Lynn, for like, you know, breaks and things like that, we'll update that not only in communication, but also through Instagram. We'll, you know, say, hey, here's a Labor Day schedule, which we did for Labor Day. If
Right.
we're on, you know, University of Scranton closes for the day and we get a foot of snow, the Naples Center is there where we focus in on. Fresh
Sure.
Food Company is number one. And then we start to open up other areas into Naples based on, you know, people, our staff getting to campus to work. You know, if we can't open Starbucks up for the day, it's, you know, because we don't have the staff. You know, again, I'm concerned about safety, not only for
Oh, absolutely.
people traveling in and stuff, but we provide, again, in 34 years now, we have never not opened an operation during a snowstorm or
And that's
blizzard
impressive.
or,
We've had some rough
yeah,
ones, and
yeah,
I've always been thankful for your staff as well as our maintenance staff that does such a great job in getting the students, making the path safe and all
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah. We
Um,
actually, go ahead.
Here's another one. How many guest swipes do first year students get with an unlimited meal plan?
So
Is
both,
it per semester or per year? Is the
yeah,
question.
so both plans, unlimited and or ultimate and ultimate plus get 6 guest meals, and that's per
Okay.
semester. So it's
Okay.
use it or lose it. I always tell the kids, like, I don't want to get it too complicated. Let's use that scenario where a student comes in at 11:30 for lunch in the Fresh Food Company. Remember, again, our lunch period is 11 to 2:30, but it really goes till 4 o'clock in retail. They can actually go down to retail at 3 o'clock and get Chick-fil-A and a lunch swipe using a guest meal. So
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah, guest meals can be used on themselves, a friend. Actually, I was swiping kids in tonight before leaving, and you know, a student came in and said, "Hey, I'd like, you know, to have a guest meal for my friend." I said, "Oh, sorry, it's Wednesday, no guest meals." Just jokingly, of course.
No,
She's like,
no, don't do
she's like,
that.
yeah, but she's like, ah, that's a good one. She told her friend she had to leave. It was funny. She was
That's
playing
funny.
along with it, you know.
You're picking on these kiddos.
No,
That's
no,
funny.
she her you know, the one I said it to, she was like, "Oh, okay, Liz, you're gonna have to go."
That's funny.
Of course, we let
Now
her in.
let's play the game again.
Yep,
So if they have an unlimited meal plan, they
yep,
go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
yep.
Okay, I'm going to read it exactly how it's typed. So if they have unlimited, they can go to breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Mhm.
or they can go skip one of these and go to retail just once, the unlimited, but have to stay within the approximately $8 thing. Does that sound?
Yeah, so again, that's a great question. You know, just you know, back down a minute and remember the program is based on meal period.
Right.
Meal period.
Right.
So, right,
Oh, got it.
yeah, so you know, the system realizes that the student swiped in at lunch in a location anywhere on campus, and so we'll disallow them to come into another location during that time period. I don't know if that really answers it, but it kind of, you know, if they swipe in an area wherever they're using, if they're using retail or they're using the Fresh Food Company, it denies them to go into another location using just a plain meal swipe.
That makes sense. That
Yep.
makes sense.
Okay.
Let's talk about weekends. A parent wants to know,
Weekends.
are there any options for food earlier in the morning on Saturdays and Sundays? So talk about Saturdays and Sundays and when we're open and why.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm going to say a year ago, our Fresh Food Company opened at 10:30 in the morning,
Mhm.
and we, you know, worked with student government and realized that students were interested in coming in earlier. So we backed it back down to 9:30. So we do open 9:30 in the Fresh Food Company. Um, Saturday and Sunday, we don't have a lot of meal swipes at 9:30, which indicates the fact that not a lot of kids are waking up early in the morning on the weekend and coming rushing over for breakfast. Starbucks opens at 11 and retail opens up at 4 o'clock. The outside locations are closed. The activity, I'm going to say on a Friday for Mulberry, just example, they do 120 people. That's it on a
Oh,
Friday.
wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's
Okay.
like whatever the case may be on a Friday, they're kind of relaxing, chilling out. Um,
Yeah.
EBB is closed over the weekends because there's no activity down in the Leahy Center,
Right. There's no
Leahy Hall.
classes or,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But again, that that 9:30, what I would suggest if you have a student that's an early riser is to pick up some stuff, maybe put it in their room. If they,
Mhm.
looking for something, they could maybe even get it in the Pod Market in the Naples Center that they can have for early morning Saturday. But
Yep.
our really we see that the increase at around 11 o'clock on the
Yeah.
weekends. You know what I mean? It really doesn't pick up until then, and sometimes not around noon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think it's really great that Aramark was mindful and worked with student government to make your decisions. And I think our student government does a great job at advocating for the students when and how they need to be. So
Oh yeah, I mean, dining committee to going to present in front of the student government. The last meeting I attended, I was Father Marino was right alongside me, and I was like, "Oh, this is pressure's on here to answer the kids on these 15 kids on the cabinet for the student government." But yeah, I would say
probably
in 34
more
years. Go ahead.
more nerve-wracking presenting to the students than to the trustees, probably.
Yeah, the only savior I had was Gracie was on my right side, and she stayed by me, and I was petting her the whole time. So I was like, "Okay, this is reassuring and
Choose your
comforting."
emotional support
Yes.
dog. That's
Yeah.
so great.
Yeah, no,
That's so
I would
great.
say, well, I don't know if you can see him or not. He's coming up. Oh, no, he wants to get down. Anyway, we have worked very well with the university, and not only staff and our day-to-day client, but also the student government to really dig in, do surveys, find out what students want. Well, I don't have all the answers, right? I may know what direction we might be headed in, but we like to hear from the students to make the choices and changes on campus to better their home, right? I,
Right.
I think we forget that, we're all sitting at our kitchen table. They are not. We try to make it like their home on campus with food. And that's what I think has made us so successful and such a long-term contract with the University of Scranton. And we're the second longest running contract in the country with the university. It's like
Oh, really?
58 years now. Yeah,
I'm not
it's
surprised though. I'm not
well, yeah,
surprised. And
I
I
think it's
often forget that you guys, that Aramark and like I forget that you don't work for the University of Scranton. I forget that you're Aramark. Because you're my brother. Like you're part of
yeah,
you and your team are just feel like we're all one big team, which I
yeah. When
appreciate.
somebody says, "Hey, where do you work?" I say that, or who do you work for? I say the University of Scranton.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just who we are on campus. So
Yeah, it absolutely is. Let's just grab one or two more questions as we're getting up on the top of the hour.
sure.
Um, Here's one. I think you answered this, but I'm hearing lines are long or too long to wait before class, and portions are small. And one of the examples she's giving is pasta and noodles. Are there scenarios, are these scenarios typical or during your busy hours, like like the example that you gave Monday through Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday? So long lines and what they're considering to be small
Yeah.
portions. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so for a first year student, they may not recognize it, but we actually have, it's a higher class this year. We have more people on a meal plan,
Yep.
thankfully for everyone. I think the thing is finding that, that that niche, I'd call it, or niche.
Sure.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you come at noon, there's going to be long lines. We had kids this morning when I was on the round grill cooking or prepping the smash burgers. They were lining up at 10:40 this morning
Yeah.
for lunch, right? And you might need to adjust times or whatever, but then we also have students looking for breakfast at 10:40. So it's a kind of a hard
Sure.
balance, but
Sure.
there at times there's long lines. I've had professionals come in above me and say, listen, you need to prepare and get ready for your 11 o'clock rush. And
Hmm.
what you need to do is you need to take and at 10 o'clock in the morning, cook off 100 hamburgers and put it in the warmer. And so you're ready for it at 11 o'clock. And I said, I will absolutely not do that.
You're not doing that. Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I refuse because I don't really want to eat a burger that's been cooked at 10 and put in a warmer that's drying out that's served at 11 or 11:30 because
Right.
you know what I mean? So today we had the line start up for the round grill with the smash burgers you know, we're smashing them on the grill. You know,
Yeah.
they're cooking up. We have the cheese on it, and coming off the grill hot and fresh on a nice bun, some
You
hot
can't
French
beat it.
fries. You know,
Yeah.
I have never, yes, there are long lines, but I've never, how would I say, run into a student that says, "Hey, I don't want to wait. I want a burger that was cooked an hour before." That's
Right.
something that I'm very proud of. That, you know, we're
Yeah.
cooking in batches. We don't have a back of the house kitchen. We cook in batches.
Mm.
We serve. We get ready. The lines go pretty quick too.
And
Um,
the other
th-
thing I want to point out is the students, the first year students. I know there's a lot of first year parents on the call today. They're still getting their groove as
sure.
far as what time they need to get to where, so the next couple, the first couple of weeks are always an up and down kind of time.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
we do have
Portion sizes in the second question there.
oh yeah,
So
sorry.
yesterday I had a couple upper class get to me and say, "Hey, listen, what's going on with the portion sizes?" In Fresh Food Company, I said, "What are you talking about?" They talked to me about the pasta station. There was
Oh,
some
okay.
chatter on Yik Yak, which I don't follow because I don't like it.
Mhm.
When I called my executive chef during that meeting yesterday at about 5 o'clock with a couple students in retail, he said, "I'm on it." He said, "I saw some posts, I heard some rumors. And for us, we want to serve the portion that we are preparing, that we said we are going to give." So in other words,
Yeah.
if pasta is supposed to be 6 ounces, we're
Mhm.
going to give you 6 ounces. Our people on the line should not be determining a lesser or greater portion for a student. It should be the portion being served that we have scheduled within our production for that menu item, because it matches our nutritional information too.
Oh, that makes sense. And the nutritional information is all on Campus Dish, correct?
It is, yeah, and
Is that
technology
okay?
again, like we had like 3 minutes before this call and I was having trouble. Sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not, but
Don't tell
um,
anybody about 3 minutes before this call.
yeah, we covered it, right?
We did.
Yeah, the Scranton Campus Dish, a lot of information, menus, nutritional information to find out what we're serving and what the content is of that product. So,
Okay. We're coming up on 8 o'clock. I do want to ask one more question
sure.
about vegetarian options.
Yep.
Do you have a featured vegetarian dishes or stations with basics like rice and beans and tofu, etc.?
Yeah, so you can get it off the, let's call it stationary stuff. We usually have rice and beans out over at the salad bar or
Yep.
produce market.
Yep.
If parents recall, when you came into the Fresh Food Company, you made a left. The kids call it the healthy side. I don't get it sometimes. Yes, we have lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers. Maybe that's healthy, but right to the right of that station, we have set up a vegetarian station. So I forget today, but I think it was yesterday was a tofu taco.
Yeah.
Because we have Taco Tuesdays on
Yep.
over at True Balance, and it is nonstop over there. We do it both lunch and dinner because students love that stuff. But again, you can just go there. One important thing, if you're not seeing something and you're questioning it, the best thing to do is get to one of the station attendants, a cook, a chef, just ask them for it.
Yeah.
If we don't have it out, we've got it in the cooler. We just,
Right.
I'll tell a quick story. He's a junior now. His name is Wally. He's wanted tuna fish for breakfast. I don't know how many people eat tuna fish for breakfast, but it was a cultural thing for him. And I said, "Wally,
Right.
you got it. We have it. It's just not out for breakfast, but just ask." And so he started getting tuna fish for breakfast.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is pretty great. That is pretty great. Well, I think we've done a really great job in 55 minutes. We've answered quite a few questions. Folks, join me in thanking Joe Boyd for taking some time out of his evening. He's a hard worker. He's always, I swear he's always on campus. I don't know if he has a cot in his office, but it feels like whenever I am there, he is there. So Joe, I deeply appreciate you spending time with our families tonight. Before we close out the webinar, make sure you jump over to the chat box for those links that we put to Campus Dish, the Royal Card information, and there's something else. Oh, the dining services email address.
So Cooper won't come to me now, so I don't know what's going on.
If we didn't get to your question tonight, or if you think of another one, you can either email dining services. Oh, hi, Cooper.
That's well,
And this
no,
is my
that's Mia. She's a
Oh, sorry.
West Highland White Terrier, but yeah,
She's so cute. I wonder if she
she's
wants to meet Gracie. If she
oh, she
wants to
did
meet Gracie.
actually. I brought her to campus one day. They had a ball.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah.
And as we close out, I just want to thank all of the families for entrusting your students with us. We definitely have something in common with you, and that's that we love your kids. So we'll do what we can to make them thrive and successful in their lives, and definitely be well fed.
Yeah.
So
And I would just like to include and say thank you because I know we talked about this and we had one rolling and then we had to push it, but I think it's a great opportunity that parents are really, interested in what's happening and be part of their journey on campus. Again, we see them as first year students and then, a couple years down the road, it's going to fly by, but all of a sudden we're saying goodbye. And, a lot of our people get very emotional about the attachments they've had with these students. They know their
yeah,
name, they know what they like, they know what they like in their omelets, it's really a big family. And again, we're here to ensure that they're taken care of. And if you ever have a problem or concern, you just reach out to us and very responsive. Within an hour or later, if it's at night. Again, like Lynn said, I'm typically there from 6 to 6. Tonight I left a little early, but we're here to take care of your children in a beautiful or on a beautiful campus here at the University of Scranton. So.
well, I appreciate you so much. And parents, I hope you'll join us. Keep an eye open for information about Family Weekend, and that is September 26th through 28th. Lots of fun things to do on campus as well as in the greater Northeast Pennsylvania area. So I hope you'll join us for that. And make sure you are logging in and checking out the Scranton Family Portal. We're seeing a lot of great new traffic on that platform. This is the first year we're using it, and we're really excited to be able to. It has definitely helped with things like this webinar. So thank you, everyone. And if you have additional questions, again, you can email diningservices@scranton.edu, or I'm going to put up our office email and you can get that one. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thanks again, Lynn.